and when you have to pivot, you pivot if you want to stay in business. You guys also focused on that chapter a lot about diversification. You talked about, and Lauren, I'll direct this question to you. There was one woman, Ilana Walensky, who does jewel branding and licensing. She focused on diversifying her products because she was seeing falls off in sales in one versus another. And then you feature a guy named Min Park, who's an investor in restaurants, and he invests in, he looks for geographical diversity for where he's investing. So, Lauren, talk to us a little bit about diversifying your business so that you can overcome potential roadblocks.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that one of the things that amazed me about what we saw during the pandemic was that it's sort of exactly what Jackie's saying, which is it forced people to diversify their business. And the good thing about that is that they got put into a situation where it was like adapt or die, basically, right? And so if you can't adapt your business, you're not going to survive this time. What's incredible about that is that as the world starts to reopen, what a lot of business owners have realized is that they now have additional revenue streams. And so I think that's one of the silver linings that came out of the pandemic, is that when a lot of physical locations closed, people pivoted to online. And we've seen a lot of our merchants, even on the Square side, that realized that their e-commerce business could actually be 10x what their in-person business is, which changes the entire way they think about their business. And so I think that the diversifying your revenue streams is obviously a really important part of this. And I think we saw a lot of business owners do that during the pandemic. And now that they're sort of back operating in the real world, they actually have higher revenue than they did before the pandemic because they have multiple revenue streams. And so this is a really important idea, and actually a concept I think that we've seen all along in businesses. If you have a retail store, do you use that space at night potentially for some type of classes or gatherings, right? We see a lot of people you have a retail store and a coffee shop, both in one. You have a restaurant and you sell merchandise. Right. And so I think this is a really important thing that we see a lot of small business owners do. And one of the reasons I think why Jackie and I both love small business owners so much is that they're the best at this, right? Yep. They're really passionate about what they do. They're super resilient. They have the most grit of anyone I've ever seen sort of operate because they want to be successful. And so they're much more likely to make these quick pivots. There isn't as much bureaucracy because a lot of it isn't working in a large organization. And so this is a really critical component, I think, and a trend that we see, I think, just continuing to multiply.